Hello everybody and welcome here to my WWE SummerSlam predictions on this video. We'll start things first here for my first predictions of the SummerSlam event between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar inside the Hell in a Cell. Third round of matches between Oba and Brock. Obafemi and Brock Lesnar fought against each other at WrestleMania. Obafemi defeated Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, we all thought that was going to be an end of his career at WrestleMania, but he came out of nowhere and returned out of nowhere and attacked Obafemi, and then the match was built up to a pay-per-view event at Clash in Italy. And then Brock Lesnar defeated Obafemi to make it 1-1 in terms of the score between those two men fighting each other on the records over each other head-to-head. And now for the third matchup against each other at SummerSlam, it will be Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar for the third time. I think that with Obafemi, he looks different. He's transitioned to a different look because he has lost a little bit of weight. You can see on Raw that contract signing he made with Brock Lesnar in that cell. He looks so different, he does. It looks like a real proper powerhouse, he does, like Brock Lesnar. And this is going to be a very, very interesting match to really full upon at SummerSlam. But I personally think that Obafemi will get the job done. I think Oba will go and win over Brock Lesnar, and he'll defeat Brock Lesnar 1, 2, 3 to pick up the victory going into SummerSlam. So I think Oba will win that match over Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. We move on now to the Undisputed Championship matchup between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. This will be a very interesting occurrence, this will be, between the two men, because Cody Rhodes was the Undisputed Champion. CM Punk was the WWE's World Heavyweight Champion. These two men were champions on two different shows on Raw and SmackDown. But these two will fight each other once again. I know that Sami Zayn was the champion at Clash of Champions, and then he lost it on Monday Night Raw to Punk, and then things didn't look great for Sami after that, and now it's going to come down to Punk and Cody. These two men have rivalries in the past. These two men know each other very, very well, and it's good to have this match to happen at SummerSlam as well. But I do think in this singles matchup between Punk and Cody, I do think that Cody Rhodes will go and win as the champion, I think, because CM Punk's a little bit older now. He's 48 or 47 years of age. Cody's only 40, but Cody is probably got more of a better pedigree compared to CM Punk. And I do think that Cody will clinch back the WWE's Undisputed Champion at SummerSlam. So I'm going for a win for Cody on that night at SummerSlam for tomorrow. We now move on to our six-man tag team matchup between LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys, The Bloodline. Obviously, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso will fight against LA Knight, Solo, and Royce Keys. And Solo Sikoa is a different look now in terms of his crowd reaction now. He's a babyface. He is definitely a babyface after he's now teaming up with LA Knight and also Royce Keys. And this will be a very interesting bout to happen. Could LA Knight, Solo, and Royce Keys get onto the same page on SummerSlam? And could the Bloodline, could they be with Jacob Fatu to be a real proper power force in terms of defeating LA, Solo, and Royce Keys? And will that match in terms of the Bloodline can go and defeat them? Who knows on that? I do think that what I've seen on SummerSlam's build-up between these six involved, I think that having Jacob Fatu now as part of the Bloodline since he lost to Roman at Clash of Italy to have a stipulation that he'll acknowledge Roman Reigns afterwards, and now he's part of the Bloodline. I do think the Bloodline with Jacob Fatu will be very interesting to see, and I do think that Jacob Fatu, Jey and Jimmy Uso will go and win the match going into that six-man tag. So I'm going to go for the Bloodline to defeat LA Knight, Solo, and Royce Keys. Now we're moving on now to Gunter and Nick Aldis. This is the next matchup, by the way, to predict, because Nick Aldis is the general manager, the GM of SmackDown, but now he signed that contract on SmackDown that he will not be officially a SmackDown GM now. He'll be an in-ring performer. Nick Aldis has never wrestled in the WWE. He wrestled in TNA as Magnus. I remember the Magnus character back in the day. He was a 3-time NWA World Champion. He's done well in NWA as well, but he never stepped foot in a WWE ring. And Gunter is a career killer, he is. He defeated AJ Styles, he defeated Goldberg and John Cena to end their careers. I know this matchup between Nick Aldis and Gunter is not a career-ending matchup whatsoever. Nick Aldis' career hasn't even started at all. It's just begun going into SummerSlam now. But this will be interesting, though, in terms of the heat, because Gunter really called out on Nick Aldis. Even the decisions he made as SmackDown GM was not favoured upon by Gunter. And Gunter, took his frustrations out on Nick Aldis, and then Nick Aldis snapped. And then he went after him, and now it's going to come down to a matchup between Nick Aldis and Gunter at SummerSlam. But I do think Gunter will definitely go and win the matchup at SummerSlam. I don't think that Nick Aldis will be the man to leave SummerSlam as the winner on his debut match. I think that Gunter will go and win the match. So I'm going to go for the ring general to go and defeat Nick Aldis at SummerSlam. We move on now to night 2 of matches of SummerSlam. We've got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And these two, go way back in the days of The Shield, and going back from them days where they're actually partners once upon a time. And I know that Seth split with Roman 10 years ago, and the Shield was split altogether. And then obviously now that Seth and Roman had that head-to-head rivalry for the last 10 years, and even though these two men are in their 40s now and they are going towards that ending, or sort of going towards it a bit slowly on to the end of their careers, but it's a very interesting matchup to see if Seth Rollins will pick up a victory over Roman for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But Roman is Roman, and Roman Reigns is the guy that the WWE rather keeps as the World Heavyweight Champion, I think, to try and give the bloodline a little bit more of some power in terms of the face of the WWE, even with Jacob Fatu in the helm as the part of the bloodline with the Usos. So I think that it will be a victory for Roman Reigns easily and comfortably. I think Seth will lose going into the matchup on night 2, and I think Roman will retain the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now we move on now to our matchup for the Intercontinental Championship. It's between Penta and Chad Gable. Well, Chad Gable, a man that is now a new breed in terms of a babyface now, since he was unmasked at AAA Wrestling, and he's now known to be back to not El Grande Americano, but as Chad Gable. And since he's now that babyface of Chad Gable now, it's now good to see him now challenge for the IC Championship belt. But against Penta, however, though, and this will be a very interesting match to call upon, obviously, for these two men between Penta and Chad Gable. I think that in this matchup, in my honest prediction, going straight into it, though, I probably will say that this will come down to win for Chad Gable, though. Chad Gable, a guy that is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we are in Minneapolis, Minnesota for SummerSlam on Sunday. I do think Chad Gable will be the man to leave as the new WWE Intercontinental Champion. I don't think that Penta will retain the belt. I think Chad Gable will win in his hometown in Minneapolis. And I think that Chad will become the new Intercontinental Champion going into SummerSlam. Now my prediction between Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio. And this matchup is a human on a pole match. The winner will have $1,000 as Danhausen stole the money from the Judgment Day. A bit of a silly storyline, to be honest with you. I don't really rate Danhausen since he arrived in the WWE, but I'll put a prediction down between Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio. I think that It's going to be stupid, I think, this storyline with Danhausen. But I think Danhausen will somehow surprisingly win this matchup. I think somehow his magical powers, I think that it will be probably enough for him to win. Silly to predict it, though, but I do think that's a prediction, though. Danhausen somehow keeps that money from he stole from the Judgment Day. So I'm going Danhausen to defeat Dominic Mysterio. Okay, we have got this matchup underway now. Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Well, Finn Balor won that #1 contendership matchup on SmackDown. And now he gets a chance on fighting Sami Zayn to become #1 contender for the WWE's Undisputed Championship going into soon after SummerSlam, because the Undisputed Champ is between Cody and CM Punk. I did say that Cody will leave SummerSlam as the winner of the matchup between him and Punk. And I do think that in regards of this matchup coming up, if Cody wins at SummerSlam, I think Finn Balor might be a very good opponent for Cody Rhodes, because Finn Balor and Cody has never fought each other one-on-one before. And I think it makes perfect sense if Finn Balor will go on and win that match over Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. Sami Zayn is complaining so much about him losing that championship belt after 2 days of winning it, going into Saudi Arabia's Clash of Champions. But I do think that this will come down to a victory for Finn Balor. I think he's a real top star to defeat Sami Zayn. And I think that'll be a Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor dream match going into after SummerSlam, personally. So I'm going to go for a Finn Balor victory over Sami. Now moving on now to Trick Williams and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin returned after a year away from WWE. He was released from WWE, and surprisingly he returned as signee contractor now as part of the WWE. And I do think that Baron Corbin is a dark image of Baron Corbin now, since we've seen him on SmackDown recently. I think that he will go on and defeat Trick Williams at SummerSlam. I know Trick Williams is a real popular star in WWE since he's been called up from NXT with the music and, you know, everything about his aura, his catchphrase and everything, and that Trick Williams is a real future top star in the WWE. And I do think Baron Corbin, with his return back to the WWE, I do think that this will come down to Baron Corbin to win the US Championship belt. So I'm going to go for Baron Corbin to test Trick Williams and defeat Trick Williams, and he'll become the new US champion, maybe by a fluke, maybe by distraction, maybe it could be anything happening going into that match. But I do think Baron Corbin will find a sleeve in his shoulders to go and win that match going into SummerSlam. And that's all my official predictions for the pay-per-view of SummerSlam on Sunday and Saturday for tomorrow and Sunday. If you like this YouTube video on TGI Wrestling Productions, go and give me a subscribe. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care and enjoy the whole predictions of the pay-per-view of SummerSlam and also for my YouTube content. Thank you all for watching.